So now what we're going to do is actually set up some tabs within React Native Router Flux. And again, like everything else, it's going to make that relatively easy for us. Something I did off video, just because it took a little bit of time, was added 4 new screens, those being black screen, blue screen, gold screen, and this maze screen, just so that we can have 3 tabs with 3 separate screens, just so you can see that the navigation state kind of persists throughout these different tabs. You can either reference the blog post or the actual GitHub repo to get the code for these 4 additional screens. It's exactly the same as scarlet screen or gray screen, just with different names and different colors. So with that, let's actually jump in and create our tabs. First up, just go ahead and change these guys. Just group those together so we know what's going on there. Scarlet will do blue screen, if I can spell it correctly. We'll do maze screen. We'll do black screen. And finally, gold screen. So we've got our new screens imported, and what we want to do now is just really all we're going to do is jump down into where we're actually defining all of our scenes. And when you want to use use tabs, it's pretty simple. Just like before, we're going to set up a scene. This time it's going to be like so. So what's different here is we're going to get rid of the component and the title and initial. And we're going to change the key as well. And we'll just call this tab bar. It doesn't really matter, whatever you want to use. And then the really important one that's going to tell React Native Router Flux that we want this to be a tab bar is this tabs prop. So again, this is just shorthand for saying tabs true. And that's just telling the package that we want this to be tabs. And then finally, just so we can see things and it's differentiated, we're going to pass in some tab bar styles and make the background white, just so that we can actually see things well. So from in here, we're going to set up another scene now. You can see one of the disadvantages here is that our components are getting really deeply nested. You can kind of break this up and pull all of your components together in a different way, but just for brevity, we'll keep it like this. So once we're in here, we want to actually go ahead and define our components. Like everything else, we'll want to set a key. We're going to set a title. We're going to say OSU here. And we're going to say icon equals tab icon. And then we'll pull this in our scarlet and gray and pop that into our OSU tab. One thing you might notice is this tab icon isn't defined anywhere. We'll go ahead and define that right up here. Very basic. All this is doing is actually going to determine how your tab is actually going to be displayed. So you've got full creative license to do whatever you want there. This one's going to be very basic, just displaying the actual text. So you've got tab icon passing in whether it's selected and the title, and that's all we're going to be showing there. So we've got that set up. Let's go ahead and save this and see what actually happens. So we need to import the variable text. We'll do that. All right, cool. So we've got one tab here. Just like before, we can kind of click through those, but that's not very interesting. Let's go ahead and add in our other tabs. So we'll do this. This time we're going to say set the title. Tab icon is going to be exactly the same. This time we're going to say this is going to be blue. Swap out scarlet with blue. Gray with maze. All right, cool. So we've got two different tabs here. And just to make things kind of nice and pretty, we're going to add another tab just because I want to. We'll set key, title, we'll say gold, and then we'll say black here. Okay, so now we should have 3 tabs. Perfect. So now you can see with our very basic styles, we've got 3 separate tabs. You can click through them. You can jump from, in the OSU route, we'll go down to gray, jump over to the UM, So I missed this before, but you just want to make sure you set your keys correctly. So yeah, we've got our OSU, UM, and VU tabs. We'll go ahead, we can click into the gray screen. We'll jump over to UM. From there, we can actually click into the maze screen. Apologies to anyone, because it's pretty harsh yellow. And we'll jump back to OSU. We can see we've held our navigation state. Same here, we've got our back buttons, everything going on between our different screens. Super simple. You can see, though it is relatively deeply nested, we got a lot of stuff from the react-native-router-flux package, rendering our screens, our routing, and now we've got our tabs.